Ladies and gentlemen, Combat Sports Live starts now with your hosts Jeremy Ridgway and Charles Crumpler.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Combat Sports Live. I am your host Jeremy Ridgway. With me is my partner Charles Crumpler. Man, we've got a action-packed show in store for you today. We've got a lot to talk about. UFC 115 tonight. Chuck Liddell versus Rich Franklin, and also the co-main event will be Mr. Mirko Cro Cop versus Pat H.D. Barry, who will also be joining us on the show later this hour, so stick around for that for sure. Also in the studio with us today is local professional mixed martial arts fighter Caleb McCallister from Team Ram is going to be in the studio with us today. Caleb, how you doing today?
Doing great, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on today.
And not to leave my co-patriot, Mr. Charles Crumpler. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm not going to hold it against you this week, Jeremy.
We've just been taking shots at each other.
Next week, you don't want to know what's going to happen.
We're going to get at each other. So what we've got this week, we've got so much going on, it's kind of hard to pack it all in one show. UFC 115 is tonight. We've got Chuck Liddell. Again, he was originally supposed to face off against Tito Ortiz, and he will be fighting Rich Franklin, who stepped in after Tito Ortiz had some type of back injury and ended up having surgery. And then you've also got, of course, the co-main event, which is probably one of the fights that I've been looking forward to all year long, a guy that has been a sleeper in terms of his visibility within the UFC. Pat Barry is going to be taking on Mirko Cro Cop, and he is going to be calling in from Vancouver later in the hour in rounds number 3 and 4, so definitely want to stick around for that. Let's dig right into it really quickly. Just to kind of touch on what we'll be talking about throughout the show. Rich Franklin, what do you think is going to go on there, Charles, with Chuck Liddell?
Well, I think you're going to see a great fight. Rich is a battle-tested warrior, along with Chuck Liddell. They've both been kind of on and off. Here they haven't been full-time fighting. So we're going to see who comes in most prepared. The fight I'm looking for is going to be the Muay Thai just battle. Between Barry and Cro Cop. That's going to be a great show of leg kicks, and we've seen that here recently, and I can't wait to see HD get in the ring.
Certainly. These two guys are, if you haven't, pretty much everybody knows or has seen Mirko Cro Cop recently in the UFC. Pat Barry, of course, is somewhat of a newcomer, but if you haven't seen these two fight, you're in for an amazing show. And we're going to be talking more about that in round number 1. I want to really focus on these two fights in particular, the main event, the co-main event. I want to get Caleb's perspective, because I know that you're a pretty big Rich Franklin fan.
I definitely am. He's been one of my role models, for as long as I've been fighting, as long as I've been training, not just because of the way he fights, but...
And we're going to roll right back into that. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're going to be right back with round number 1 of Combat Sports Live.